Hello, thanks for joining me today. This is Danny, and welcome back to my modded 1.10.2 series. Today we are making a lot of noise downstairs. Today we are going to be doing some inventory control stuff. You may remember in the last episode that we set up this quantum quarry, which is bringing in tons and tons of resources. Which actually, I'm going to turn this off right now because because we need to do some inventory management in order to manage all the stuff that's coming. Canola seeds. Interesting. There must have been to manage all the stuff that's coming in from our quarry, because we've got all the stuff coming in. And in the last episode, when we set this up, we also set up these storage drawers. But at the time, I was using an older version of Refined Storage, and when I would connect the storage drawers, like all these storage drawers, using an external storage connected to a drawer controller, which is connected to all the drawers, the game would lag really bad. That bug has since been fixed, so as you can see, it is currently connected, and I'm not lagging at all, like in the least bit. So it's disconnected right now. Now it's connected. No difference whatsoever. I had actually a tiny itty bitty maybe lag spike when I first connected it, while the Refined Storage system kind of made the connection and adjusted its numbers and such. But aside from that, it's working beautifully. So what we're going to do, the reason that I want to do these basic drawers is mainly for one feature. I mean, besides the fact that they look really nice and we'll be able to look and see what we have in our inventory very quickly. But what I really like about these drawers is the fact that we can add void upgrades. So that for each drawer we can say we're going to keep a certain amount of something, and then anything more that we get from the quarry, we're just going to void. And the reason I like that idea so much is because then we can say, hey quarry, why don't you keep running until we have 8 stacks of diamonds, or whatever, you know, whatever we decide we want. And if we end up with 1 million copper ingots, it'll just void the rest of them. So we'll just tell it there's a few items that we always want to make sure that we have a lot of on hand, some rare things, things like copper, tin, aluminum, and lead. We're always going to have a lot of those, no matter what. Because as we're trying to get diamonds, we're going to get tons of those. As we're trying to get iron, well, actually, we're going to have tons of iron all the time too. But most of this stuff, we're just going to have a lot of it on hand. It's really just the diamonds, the emeralds, and the draconium, and maybe the resonating ore, that we really need to worry about making sure we get enough of that stuff. And then the rest of the stuff we can just keep a certain amount on hand and void the rest. And then of course we have all this stuff over here, our stone and our limestone and our vanilla, cobble and gravel and sand and all this stuff that we're going to get tons and tons and tons of, way more than we need. So we're going to do the same thing. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade these drawers using the various upgrades. The storage drawers mod has all these upgrades which increase the amount that these things can store. So right now I have the 1x2 drawers, which hold 4 different types of items, and by default they only hold 8 stacks of each. So if we do an upgrade, so let's say for instance we do a gold upgrade, that's going to increase the storage by 5 times the value. So in this case, 8 times 5 is 40, it's going to be 40 stacks. If we do 2 gold upgrades, it's going to just give us another 40 stacks. So it's not going to multiply 40 times 5. So in total, if we take an empty hand and shift right click, we'll see we have 5 upgrade slots. So in total we can put 4 storage upgrades, and then I'm going to have 1 void upgrade in probably every single drawer except this one, because there's just no way we're going to end up having to void draconium. Of course these guys are all going to have void upgrades as well, and I was already storing them in here, so we're just going to move these over here now. And we'll just have all our stuff in this one set of drawers. And then what I did is I set the priority to 10 so that it's a higher priority than our disk drive, which is at a priority of 0. So when iron comes in, it's going to end up being dropped in this drawer if possible. And if not possible, then it's going to end up going into here. But now if we have void upgrades on these things, like a copper, we'll have a void upgrade on here. If we end up getting too much copper, it's just going to come in here, whether this is full or not, because it can go in here. As long as it can go in here, it will. So we also have all the drawers locked right now. So using the drawer key from storage drawers, we can right click to toggle that little lock thing on and off. The beauty of the way this lock works is that when a drawer is locked, obviously nothing else can go in that drawer other than what is in that drawer. So if we run out of black quartz, for instance, entirely, it still is going to reserve that spot for black quartz. But what's really great about it is that the empty drawers, the system will not automatically pipe anything into those drawers. So our external storage will not just dump stuff in these drawers. But we can, even though the drawer is locked, we can say, okay, in this drawer, so like as we're doing this, we might see that, oh, we're getting a lot of clay. I don't know why I wouldn't have clay. Oh, because I have it here, but I'm going to move this. But we got a ton of clay. So let's say we want this drawer over here to be clay. So now that will be locked on clay, but the system would not put that in there unless we do it manually first. So now we have all these drawers, but we already have all this stuff in our system. So if we look, we have thousands, well, thousands of iron ingots, a couple thousand copper, and so on and so forth. We want all that stuff in here. So there's a couple different ways that we could approach that. We could just grab an exporter and hook it up to this thing, hook it up to our external storage, and export all that stuff to here. There's one problem with that, though, in that we would have to then on the exporter we would have to whitelist every one of these things, which would kind of be a little bit of a pain. The other problem is then we'll have to remove the external storage. We'll have to remove the external storage and put the exporter in place. Otherwise, it'll cause a loop where things will just keep getting exported into itself, and that would be not ideal either. So what I'm going to do, the other way to do this, is to make a disk manipulator from refined storage. Now, the disk manipulator allows us to basically empty out disks or fill up disks or whatever from our refined storage system. We have all these disks that are holding our stuff right now. So if we put that right there and grab, say, our 64K disk and throw it in here, we can say that we want to insert into the network. So I'm not sure why it's not showing us how much is in that. What? Oh, okay. So it just emptied that disk back into the refined storage system, which seems like a useless operation. Which seems like a useless operation, except that when it imports it back into the system, it's following the priorities, which means that it's going to put the stuff into our storage drawers first. But actually, before we do that, before I do the rest of them, we're definitely going to want to upgrade these guys. I just decided to make the emerald upgrades. I'm just going to do one, and then one void upgrade, and then we can still upgrade it more if we decide to later. But that'll bring us up to 104 stacks. So 6,656. You know what? I'm probably going to want more than that eventually, but that's fine for now. And this one, I'm not going to bother voiding, because we would never want to void any of these resources. If this thing ever gets full, then we can pretty much either safely assume that we've got enough of everything, since these are the rarest resources, or we can just upgrade that drawer even more so that we can store more stuff. Alright, I've got these all upgraded. Whoops. Using the emerald ones, so they're all 6,656 items, and I piped these out of the drawers that were up there just using Ender IO conduits. And they all have void upgrades except for this drawer, but I did add a status upgrade on this drawer so that we can see a little progress bar that shows how full it is, so that we can kind of keep an eye on that one since it doesn't use the void upgrade. And then I'm going to go through and do all the disks, and I'm just going to dump them in here until they go out on the other side, and then I'm going to grab the next one. And it's just going to empty that out. It used to show you how many are in there, so you can kind of see how quickly it's doing it, but probably going to add some speed upgrades to that. That wouldn't be such a bad idea, especially since we have 3 right here. Alright, let's throw a stack upgrade in there. Pretty sure that'll make it go a lot faster. Because we have actual additions in this pack, if we hold down the control key, we can see metadata, and you can see the NBT tags. If you hit shift, you can see how much is stored inside the disk. So we can kind of watch the progress. Alright, hooray, we've got everything that is supposed to be in here is in here. You can see we have 63 times 64 plus 14 iron ingots, so we have over 63 stacks of iron ingots. And if we look in our system, we can see with them right here, even though they're in our storage drawers. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to set up a RF Tools inventory checker. That's this guy right here. I'm going to actually do this same thing I did for our tree farm. I've got an inventory checker here that's going to check to see how much of a particular thing we have, and it's going to emit a redstone signal when we have enough of something. And then I'm going to have a redstone transmitter receive that redstone signal, and then I'll have a redstone receiver over here sending the redstone signal to our quantum quarry. So that our quantum quarry will run whenever we have fewer than like so many diamonds. And we can do that with multiple items and say that if we're short on any one of these items, we're going to emit a redstone signal to our quantum storage, or our quantum quarry. So this is the drawer right here. I'm going to put the inventory checker. I'm going to click on this side of the block because we want the redstone signal to go in that direction, and we want this to be the front. So whichever side you click on, the opposite side of that is the inventory that it's going to be checking. So this would be slot, what slot would that be? I think it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's slot number 1. Has 1 times 64 plus 8 diamonds. So that, let's just check to make sure that's correct. 72 diamonds, yes. And then we're going to put our redstone transmitter right here. And again, we're going to click on that side of the block because we want to receive from this direction. And then we're going to take our redstone receiver and right click it so that they're both set to the same channel. And then this guy we're going to say when slot 1 has 1,000 diamonds, we're going to output a redstone signal to our redstone transmitter, which will then be inverted. Yay, time to get started with Super Circuit Maker. So our first project with Super Circuit Maker is going to be super simple. Screwdriver. Cool. So the screwdriver allows us to set the output and input. Shift for the input. And just right click for the output. So we can build our own circuit fairly easily, and all I really want to make right now is an AND gate, which is basically going to output a redstone signal if there is a redstone signal on 2 sides. But we don't have to make that ourselves. We can actually make a blueprint, map, and a blueprint. And then we just take that blueprint, we put it in a crafting grid, and it's going to toggle through all the different things. So then if we have everything in our inventory that we need, which I actually don't think we do. I wonder, can we find out exactly what we need? No. So let's just grab a couple stacks of tiny redstone, make sure we have a couple redstone torches. I think we're going to need 3. We would need 3 redstone torches for an AND gate. And then we just, actually we should clear that. You just left click like you would anything, any other block in Minecraft. And then we need one more redstone torch. Oh, I thought we only needed 3. That's pretty cool. It tells you exactly... Oh yeah, we need 4. Okay. Okay, so this is a 3-sided AND gate, which we don't really need. We just need 2 sides. But whatever, that'll work. So we can see that these 3 sides are the inputs. Each of them is going to a redstone torch, which is basically making it a NOT gate. Let's just grab both of these levers so that we can play with this. Oh, you know what? We don't want this. Let's get rid of that. Okay, that should work. So we've got 2 redstone torches that are both running into another redstone torch, basically making a NOT gate. So because these are on, this one is off. So the only way this redstone torch would be on is if it was not receiving a redstone signal, which means that both of these torches have to be off. So it's a basic vanilla AND gate made on a super circuit maker circuit. Hooray! Nice. If we turn any one of these off, we lose our redstone signal, and actually we can prove it by doing that. So if either one of these are off, then we don't have a redstone signal. Nice. That's exactly what we need. And we should be able to pick this up, and it should maintain its circuit. And I'm just going to put the rest of those in there for now, because that's the only thing we're going to be doing. And we need our levers. So then what I'm going to do down here, oh, we have a lever already, is I'm going to set this guy so that it's facing that, so that the output is facing that way. I forgot how to rotate though. There we go. Nope. Nope. There we go. So there's an input and there's an input. So for this input, we can put our lever. So it's still not on, because we have one more condition. We need to... Oh, wait a minute. So this guy is going to output a redstone signal when we have enough stuff. So we actually want this thing to emit a redstone signal when this lever is on, and we're not getting a redstone signal up there. So that would mean, so let's just put that lever there for testing purposes, that we don't really want an AND gate there. We simply want... Boop. Boop. Oh, that's a different color. The different colors basically don't connect to each other. So if you want to have multiple different like wires that are independent of each other, you use different colors. In this case, both of our inputs are blue, and then the part going into the redstone torch is... You know what? I'm just going to redo this. And... Boop. Oops, we don't... It's running now. We don't really want it running. Yeah, it's running, but whatever, who cares? And then I'm going to click there to disconnect that. I'm going to get rid of that and that. And shift right click to... Oh, no, not there. Ah! Shift right click up there to make that an input. Okay. So if we turn this lever on, that should shut this off. Yes, so that shuts that off. Okay. So now this thing will only run if this lever is on and that lever is off. So if we turn this on now, it's still not going to work. But if we turn this off, on, off, yeah. If we turn this off, wait, why is that not? Oh, because we have to connect this. Oh, we have to shift right click to make this an input. Whoa, There we go. Okay. That is so cool that you can specify the input and output so that it just gives you so much more control over the... I mean, for this particular circuit, it's not really all that helpful, but in general. Okay, so this lever is off. That one is off. It is not on. This has to be on, and that has to be off, and then our quarry is on. If either one of these states changes, our quarry is off. So let's just turn it off for now. Get rid of this and put our redstone receiver here. As long as we have fewer than 1,000 diamonds and our lever is on, our quarry is going to run. Hooray! So that means that we can go in here and manually turn the quarry off if we want to. And when we have it on, it's just going to run until we have 1,000 diamonds, and then it will automatically turn off. I did end up adding coal because I forgot. And we have a lot of coal coming in, and I'm sure as we go along I'll probably find a few other things that I'm not... Oh, redstone. We're going to end up with a lot of redstone. So I'm probably going to end up putting redstone in here. Actually, that's probably a good spot for it right there. Yeah. And while I was down here, I made did a couple of other tweaks. Man, we're definitely going to be playing more with Super Circuit Maker in the future. This was a very, very simple circuit, but just the process of making this just kind of just became very apparent to me just how much we can do with this freaking mod. It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to playing around with that. And actually, it's going to kind of get me back into vanilla redstone because I haven't played vanilla redstone for a very, very long time just because it's just so clunky and big, and I don't know. I got tired of it. But so it's been a really long time, so I'm going to now have to kind of remind myself how to do a lot of vanilla redstone stuff so that I can play with that mod some more. So that's kind of exciting. I don't know if you remember, but a few episodes back, I did this complicated setup in order to autocraft the solderer, because it used to be sided, where you had to input on a specific side based on where something goes in the recipe. That is no longer the case. We can now just put a crafter right on top of it, because now if you shift-click items into the solderer, it puts them in the correct place. Like, for instance, if I try to shift-click lapis, it doesn't go in at all because no recipes take it. Oh, I have another vending book. And since I already had two solderers over here, I just threw another crafter on top of this one that's doing nothing but silicon. But which is kind of cool, because then when we're doing processors, it can do the printed processors over here. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's the basic processor. Whoops, I actually wanted the silicon processor to go over there. Yeah, so then it'll put the silicon in here, it'll put the iron in there or whatever, and then when those are done, then it will put them all in here to make the final thing. So yeah. So all we need now is a crafter on top, a solderer in the middle, and a importer on the bottom. And actually, they don't necessarily have to be on the top and bottom. They can be just about anywhere. So yeah, so that's that. Oh, I could change this up with Super Circuit Maker now too. Everywhere I use logic gates, I can now use Super Circuit Maker just for fun. I added a few turbines to our gas turbine controller. You may remember when we set this up, to get the maximum efficiency from this thing, we have one heating chamber and 4 mixing chambers, because one heating chamber produces enough heat for 4 mixing chambers. No, 5. I'm sorry, 5 mixing chambers, which can produce up to 5 millibuckets per tick. But right now, as you can see, we're only producing 1.1 millibuckets per tick because we only have 4 vibrant turbines. So I added 2 more vibrant turbines today. So we're now producing 2,000 IRF per tick here instead of 1,000, and we're using 1.1 millibuckets per tick. So for maximum efficiency, we can quadruple this. More than quadruple it. So we could have like 16 turbines, and our syngas producer will keep up. Our syngas producer will keep up, and we can produce like what, 8,000 RF per tick or more. Actually, we could probably produce like 9, maybe even 10. I actually made 5, and as you can see, I've got one sitting right there, just stuck to it, using immersive craft. Because when I had 5, our tree farms weren't keeping up. So I'm going to have to upgrade our tree farms, and then we'll see. Then we can maximize our syngas production and our gas turbine. Of course, we're producing more RF than we're using right now, and we have other sources of RF too. So in the next episode, I think we're going to get started with Draconic Evolution. I think we're ready for that now. Well, I know we're ready for it, but I think the mod is ready for us now. There's still a lot of stuff that's kind of work in progress. Oh, actually, let's look at the whole mod. Yeah, there's still a few things that are work in progress. Next episode, we're going to do a Draconic Information Tablet, and we're going to get started with that. Hooray! So I do hope you join me for that. Of course, if you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to click the like button and to join me next time. Thanks for watching.